Hello, glad you can join us. Here's what we have for you. The Prime Minister's personal banking information violated.
Something that we should all be concerned about.
A bank employee under investigation for an inside job.
This needs to stop. Politically motivated violence is wrong.
Deadly shooting in Dallas at an ICE facility.
That ball a good 3 inches off the outside corner.
Plus new technology that just might settle the score.
CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo.
And we begin with a breach of privacy by an employee of RBC, Canada's largest bank, the RCMP, saying it has been investigating an Ottawa man who allegedly accessed the Prime Minister's personal banking information without authorization and for criminal purposes. CTV's Abigail Beeman has been looking into the details of these allegations. Abigail, what do you have?
Sandy, RCMP have laid 4 charges against the 23-year-old, including fraud and identity theft, and they say more may be coming.
It all started in July with a tip-off complaint from RBC to the Mounties. Police accused then-bank employee Ibrahim El Hakim of accessing, among other things, Prime Minister Mark Carney's personal data. The 23-year-old faces 4 charges: fraud over $5,000, unauthorized use of computer, identity theft, and trafficking in identity information. RCMP won't say if they believe the suspect is linked to organized crime.
This is the Prime Minister's financial information. And what I gather from this is that this is clearly information that could be potentially leveraged by what we call a threat actor.
The case is being handled by the RCMP's Integrated National Security Enforcement Team, but they note there is no threat to the Prime Minister's safety or national security. For its part, RBC says it independently identified unauthorized system access, took immediate action to engage authorities, and El Hakim is no longer employed at the bank. The bank didn't answer CTV News questions about whether high-profile client accounts are given more protection than average Canadians.
It applies to all Canadians, so it just reminds everyone that, privacy and having system to prevent, fraudulent access to anyone's file is something that we should all be concerned about.
I'm not aware of those details, actually. Yeah, but that would worry me. Yeah.
The suspect has another court appearance here in Ottawa next week. Sandy?
Abigail Beeman in Ottawa. Abigail, thank you. Now, we are hearing from Health Canada for the first time over claims made by Donald Trump about the pain medication Tylenol. The agency is contradicting his statements. Health Canada says, and we're quoting, there is no conclusive evidence that using acetaminophen as directed during pregnancy causes autism or other neurodevelopmental disorders, and that it's recommended treatment in pain and fever in pregnancy. Acetaminophen is the generic name for Tylenol. Health Canada says not treating fever and pain in pregnant women can pose risk to the unborn child. Donald Trump made the unproven claims about the drug at a news conference earlier this week. Well, Americans are calling it politically motivated violence. A targeted third shooting in Dallas today, allegedly against immigration officials. This one at an ICE field office. Now, 3 people were shot, 2 are dead, including the shooter. Let's bring in CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Joy Malbon. Joy, we know that FBI is investigating this as targeted violence against ICE officers. So what details are they releasing about the shooting?
Well, Dallas police say that law enforcement officers were not hurt and that the gunman has killed himself. This after a suspected sniper opened fire on a van that was arriving at that ICE facility. Now, Homeland Security is now saying that 3 detainees were shot, 1 has died, and 2 others are in critical condition. Now, authorities have identified the gunman as 29-year-old Joshua John. The FBI posting a picture of the unspent shell casings that contained a disturbing message and possible motive. Take a listen.
The FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence. Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
All right, so Joy, this so-called politically motivated incident comes 2 weeks after the killing of Charlie Kirk. What does it say about the mood of America?
Sandy, these are scary times in America. Political violence is on the rise. The targeted killing of, as you say, Charlie Kirk, the murder of a Democratic lawmaker in Minnesota, and just yesterday, the man who attempted to kill President Donald Trump was found guilty. Police are losing trust in their government, in the institutions, and social media has become a cesspool of political hate. Here's what Senator Ted Cruz, who condemned the violence, had to say.
This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences.
Another appeal by yet another U.S. politician, Sandy, calling for an end to the political violence that is tearing through America. Sandy?
Okay, thank you, Joy. Political commentary back again after late-night host Jimmy Kimmel returned to television after a suspension by Disney, which owns ABC, that sparked a debate about free speech. After a standing ovation that lasted close to a minute, here is how Kimmel began after nearly a week off the air.
Anyway, as I was saying before I was interrupted.
The late-night host also became emotional when discussing his comments about the political response to the assassination of activist Charlie Kirk.
It was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it.
Let it be all it is, small and still and better left alone.
Canadian singer Sarah McLachlan was Kimmel's musical guest. Over the weekend, and in support of free speech, she refused to perform at the premiere of a documentary for Disney. Well, a response today from the Kremlin dismissing Donald Trump's claim that Ukraine can regain all land lost in Russia's invasion. The war on Ukraine was the focus today as the country's president addressed the UN, calling for ongoing support, but also chastising the organization for being ineffective. CTV's Judy Trin is in New York covering the speeches. Okay, Judy, what was said today?
Sandy, Zelensky spoke about Ukraine's ability to fight Russia with cheap drones, even as he expressed concerns about a new arms race.
We are now living through the most destructive arms race in human history.
Even as Ukraine's president warned about the escalating dangers of unchecked AI-controlled drones, Vladimir Zelensky said the less advanced version of the weapons was enabling his country to hold back Moscow's might.
Ukraine doesn't have the big fat missiles dictators love to show off in parades, but we do have drones that can fly up to 2,000-3,000 kilometers.
Zelensky cited success in destroying Russian assets in the Black Sea and key infrastructure. His comments come as the American president takes a harsher tone toward the Kremlin. In the past week, Russian drones and fighter jets have flown into the airspace of Poland and Estonia, NATO members.
Do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do.
After Tuesday's face-to-face, Donald Trump made a remarkable U-turn. He posted on social media that after getting to understand the Ukraine-Russia military-economic situation, he now believes Ukraine can win back all of its territory. Previously, Trump had said ending the war would require Ukraine giving up territory it had lost. The Prime Minister said that Vladimir Putin had proven he could not be trusted.
The president, however, has made very sincere and multiple efforts to try to establish peace. He has used his long-standing relationship with President Putin in those efforts to try to establish peace. Putin has failed on every occasion, every opportunity.
Trump has called on nations to impose secondary sanctions on countries that buy Russian oil. Prime Minister Mark Carney said that G7 nations are considering such economic measures to put additional pressure on Putin. Sandy.
Thank you, Judy. Mark Carney spoke on the sidelines today at the World Economic Summit. As the Prime Minister wrapped up his trip to New York, he has also been making moves to soften relations with China and now says he hopes to meet with the country's president. CTV's chief political correspondent Vashi Kapelas is with us. Okay, Vashi, let's talk about the warming of relations with China. Why are we seeing such a push to have this happen?
I think, Sandy, it's fair to say the impetus is Donald Trump, right? And the troubles we're having with Trump, the loss of unfettered access to the U.S. market. When you're thinking about the size of the U.S. market, there are a few other countries that are comparative. China is, of course, one of them. But, and it's a big but, we have had very fraught relations with China for a myriad of reasons over the last 5 years. So whether we get that market access is one question. Whether we should be pursuing it, I think, is an entirely different one.
Okay, and I have another question for you, and that is, at the end of the day, the PM is now back in Ottawa. How will he be judged on the world stage as far as his performance at the UN is concerned?
Well, a couple of things stand out to me, Sandy, from this trip. The first is, I think you can objectively say, given the number of people who wanted to have a meeting with him, there was reporting, dozens of different CEOs and world leaders had asked for meetings, that there is a desire to do so, right? So there is a profile on the world stage that he has. I do, however, remember covering his predecessor, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, in 2015 and 16 on multiple international trips, and the same desire existed to meet him there. The big question is, can they sort of make something happen out of that? And that's what Canadians, I think, will judge them on. The second thing that I'd really quickly point out, Sandy, is the degree to which his stance on a Palestinian state is different from the U.S. It remains to be seen how that kind of tension point bears out, if at all. Sandy?
Okay, Vashi, thank you. An ostrich farm in British Columbia has been given more time as the owners try to prevent the cull of their flock. The Supreme Court of Canada has granted a stay in the destruction of the nearly 400 birds while it hears an appeal. The development comes as tensions remain high at the farm. This morning, a wall of hay bales used to corral the flock went up in flames. The bales were put in place yesterday, shortly after the arrest of the farm's co-owner and her daughter when they refused to leave the pen. They have since been released. Some students at Toronto Metropolitan University held a walkout today, angry over a video circulating online involving a security guard on campus and the arrest of a pro-Palestinian protester. The person arrested was one of several asked to leave an event after allegations of disruptive behavior. CTV's Heather Wright now on the incident and what Toronto police are saying. Hi, Heather.
Well, Sandy, a number of students have gathered here at Toronto Metropolitan University in downtown Toronto. This is a pro-Palestinian rally, but it's also a demonstration with students walking out over a video that shows a TMU security guard detaining an individual last week.
This is the video that was shared with us. It shows a security guard trying to detain someone. They then lift her up and force her to the ground. It's not clear what happened before the video begins. We do know there was an event at the school with Minister of Artificial Intelligence, Evan Solomon, that was interrupted by pro-Palestinian protesters. The school says several individuals were being disruptive and were asked to leave. They add an investigation is underway and that Toronto police are involved.
Today we are here to focus on and be in solidarity with the student that was brutalized here on campus.
Today's rally also focused on the ongoing war in Gaza with calls for the federal government to do more to end the nearly 2-year conflict. Several Jewish students came out to today's rally, and while they say they support free speech, they say some of the language being used is harmful.
Other people have committed violent acts using the same slogans as them, and so just be considerate about everybody.
The school also says the security officers involved in this incident have been reassigned and will not return to campus. They are asking anyone with any more information to get in touch. Sandy.
CTV's Heather Wright. Coming up after the break, a prototype that could solve a problem.
It's mind-blowing.
Small, attainable structures to help with homelessness. Affordable housing is a major problem these days, with more people than ever experiencing homelessness. But there could be a workable solution in what a small community in Fredericton is doing, and it's something the rest of the country should be watching. CTV Sarah Plowman on the plan and what it hopes to accomplish. Hey, Sarah.
Sandy, this tiny home community offers safe, affordable housing, and now for some, a fresh start as an entrepreneur.
The homes are tiny, but the hope each offers is huge.
I really didn't think I was going to survive this long. My name's Petra. I'm one of the entrepreneurs here.
Once homeless and feeling hopeless, Petra Haynes now has both and a business.
These are the pillows I have.
She lives here and sells her crafts at a shop steps away where people who were once unhoused are now blossoming entrepreneurs. She just sold a sticker.
It's definitely really helped me.
So this is my art.
The money, skills, and confidence they earn replaces self-doubt.
Being able to actually have this like a thing and it's really happening, it's mind-blowing.
Marcel Lebrun is the mastermind behind the community, the cafe next door where some work, and this program. He believes purpose is key to unlocking potential.
To see somebody go from unhoused to housed, obviously people think, well, that's great, they're safe and they're warm, but from going to have a sense of purpose is the most transformative thing by far.
So when the carpenters are finished, I go hunting.
Susan Hayward creates art like these miniature tiny homes from scraps left over from home builds. Her days are more meaningful.
I want to be happy every day, and this is bringing me happiness.
These businesses really are being built on self-belief. They're investing in themselves because somebody else invested in them. Sandy.
Nice. Okay, Sarah, thank you. Still ahead, Project Churchill and the new environmental concerns. The federal government unveiled big plans for Manitoba's port of Churchill this month as part of its major projects plan. Welcome news for most residents, but as CTV's Alex Carpa tells us, local researchers have major concerns for the surrounding wildlife.
Beluga whales dominate the shores of Hudson Bay in the summer months. From June to September, approximately 3,000 of these whales visit the Churchill River Basin every year. But there are fears economic opportunities in the region could have environmental consequences.
With ships, you get underwater noise that could disrupt the behavior of the migratory behavior of beluga whales.
Revitalizing the port of Churchill is planned for the second phase of Ottawa's nation-building projects, but boosting shipping traffic in Hudson Bay also introduces risks of oil spills and other major disasters.
So this is one of the two ports.
Fei Wang is the director of the Churchill Marine Observatory. He and his team of researchers have been studying ways to prepare for potential disasters in Arctic waters, like oil spills. The observatory has 2 seawater pools which recreate Arctic conditions, in which scientists like himself can study how oil behaves in cold waters.
There are such bacteria that can degrade oil when it's spilled into the ocean, but their activities are very slow in the cold waters.
Longtime Churchill resident Joe Stover, who works for a tourism company, wants to see more research done before construction begins. He says any impact on marine life would negatively affect the community, which is known for its ecotourism.
If we can go ahead with these projects, can we make sure that there are some safeguards, there are some protections for the animals?
The water looks very clean to me.
In the meantime, Wang says he and his team will do everything they can to protect the marine ecosystem as future economic interest in the Arctic grows. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Churchill, Manitoba.
Well, a rescue operation is planned for a humpback whale entangled in discarded fishing gear after a tracking device was attached to the beleaguered mammal. A whale watching vessel spotted the whale on Sunday in BC's Strait of Georgia. Fisheries and Oceans Canada was notified and arrived on scene where a satellite tag was attached to the trailing debris. They are waiting for the weather and the whale's location to allow for rescue. Well, the pressure's on for the Toronto Blue Jays as the team takes on the Boston Red Sox tonight and hopes to keep their top spot in the league overall. The only certainty for baseball fans at this point is what's coming next season, and that is automated umpires in the major leagues. CTV's Adrian Gobriel is at the Rogers Centre in Toronto with a preview of the future. Adrian.
Sandy, last night, right here, high-stakes game, bases loaded. Blue Jay star George Springer was called out on strike 3, though it was a ball. Now, as of next year, the Jays and every other team in the majors will have at least 2 chances to challenge any pitch across the plate called by the home plate umpire.
But it's a strike, and again, not reviewable. Oh, boy. And then that call goes against them.
In baseball, 3 strikes has always meant you're out.
That ball a good 3 inches off the outside corner.
Often leading to close quarter disagreements.
They are yelling at each other like this close, like face to face. The really immature managers are kicking dirt on the ump.
And Billy is not going to go quietly. They've been sort of like Supreme Court justices. There has been no higher court.
That will change as of next season. Major League Baseball confirming that each team will get 2 chances to challenge a ball or a strike as it ushers in the era of robot umpiring using an automated ball strike system known as ABS.
This is a very good day for baseball fans, because the last thing you want is games ended because of a bad call.
Utilizing a dozen cameras positioned around the field, ABS technology is also being used in tennis and football. The league says it will take no more than 15 seconds for a challenged pitch to be decided.
And the average replay challenge took 13.8 seconds. And there's only 4 challenges in the course of a game. So we're literally talking about 57 seconds added to a game.
Baseball pundits say the move can't come soon enough.
Baseball's been going on since the 19th century. Baseball's been going on since before the First World War. And now they're finally doing this.
Now, it's important to note that the human element of the game, umpires behind home plate, well, that will remain. Those we spoke with, though, hope that this will encourage the men in black to step up their game. Sandy.
Okay, Adrian, thank you. And thank you for sharing your time with us. I'm Sandy Ronaldo. Your local CTV News is coming up. See you tomorrow, we hope. Bye for now.